Hey everyone, this week we're going to go over solving rational equations. I'm going to do this in 4 different videos, and then I'll embed them in Delta Math in the place where they belong, so you can do a video, do a couple questions, take a break, that sort of thing. Hopefully that's working out well for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about solving rational equations. So I'm going to start with this one. What makes this a rational equation is this idea that we have binomials in the denominator. We have variables in the denominator. And so really what we have is kind of a double whammy. We have fractions, which we don't necessarily love, and then there's also variables in the denominator. So the first thing I want to talk about is, if you remember back to the con videos that you all loved so much, there's this idea of you had to always worry about a division by zero. So what's true in these cases is we always have to worry about extraneous solutions, and they will generally come in the form of anything that could make the denominator equal to a zero. So if I look at this, I say, okay, so I know right off the bat that x cannot be equal to -3, because if I plug a -3 into either of these spaces, I'm going to get a zero denominator, and in math that's just a big deal. We can't do it. So the approach for these questions is going to be this. What I want to do to start is to clear the fractions. So the big goal is to clear fractions. And to do that, what I have to do is it's kind of like when we were adding. You know how we found a least common denominator? That's really what we have to do here. And so I want to remind you that a denominator will have a number part, it will have a variable part, and it could have a family part. And when I look at this question, I have a family of x plus 3. So I know that if I multiply every single thing by x plus 3, I'm going to knock out these fractions. This we're going to work on later. We're going to look back at that later. So to clear the fractions, I got to multiply. All I have in this case, least common denominator, is the family part. So I'm going to, and what I also have is I have 3 terms. I have this term, I have this term, and I have this term. And in order for this to work, whatever we multiply this first term by, we have to multiply everything by, every single term. So x plus 3 is the common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this term by x plus 3. I'm going to multiply this term by x plus 3. Here comes my cat, and she's being very noisy. And I'm going to multiply this term by x plus 3. Okay, so what happens? This and this cancel, leaving in this term just 5x. Hey, that looks better. Am I right? Then I'm going to, again, I'm weird about subtracts. I'm always worried about dropping a negative. So I'm going to go ahead and move that negative over. Cat, you're being weird. Stop it. Just take in her meows. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to distribute this through. -1 times x is -1x. And -1 times 3 is -3. Equals, in this last term, these cancel, equals 1. So what we've just done with algebra is we've created an equivalent equation, and I'm telling you what, that looks a heck of a lot better than this one up here. So let's go ahead and solve that equation. I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. And she's still talking. And then I'm just going to go ahead and solve this. I get 4x equals 4, so x is equal to 1. Now at this point, when you get done, I want you to check it with that statement that you noticed right in the beginning, which was x cannot be equal to -3. And it's not, so we're fine. So this is the answer. There is nothing extraneous. Let's try that again. By the way, the cat looks like she's going to get up on the table. She might make an appearance on here, which that's fun, right? Oh, yeah, here she comes. Okay. So again, the idea here, I'm going to just notice what x cannot be equal to. X can't be equal to -9, because -9 would give me a 0 denominator. I then need to figure out how to clear the fractions. And all I have here is the family x plus 9. That would be the least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply each one of these by x plus 9. And again, the rule is you got to multiply everything by x plus 9. So I'm going to multiply 3 times x plus 9. I'm going to multiply this term by x plus 9. And I'm going to multiply this term by x plus 9. Okay? What I get? I'm going to distribute this first term, becomes 3x plus 27. Again, I'm always worried about this minus. I always scooch it over. Not a big deal in this case because these x plus 9s are going to cancel. So it's minus 1 equals x. So again, let me explain what we did. These two are equivalent because what I did up here is I followed the rule of algebra, but this one looks a heck of a lot better than that one up there with fractions and variables in the denominator. So I get 3x. I'm going to go ahead and combine these. 3x plus 26 is equal to x. Okay, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I get 26 is equal to negative 2x. So x is equal to, if I divide both sides by negative 2, x is negative 13. And I'm going to just do a little check and say, is that extraneous? I got to compare it with what I set up here. It's not extraneous, so this is a correct solution. Okay, you got some problems to do on Delta Math, and then I'll do the next video.